And greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the episodic discussion for Gears E-Day. We saw this at the press event that they had, and holy shit, we're going back to basics. Gears of War. Cannot wait. So I'm going to introduce my panel. Of course, I am Renegade Operative, and first we have Jojo.
Shut the fuck up, Foz.
You just had to get that out there from Marcus saying that.
I don't like Foz. He sucks.
I like playing as Foz though, man. This guy's cool. Just let him be. He got chewed out, of course, but still. Moving on, we have Mr. Rocker. Introduce yourself, good sir.
Howdy ho, I'm Rocker. I'm very frequently here. And Ren, when are you going to play TF2 with me and JoJo?
Well, you know, TF2 is not Gears of War. Probably not gonna be Gears of War E-Day, huh? Now I'll play that game, but you know, still. We'll see.
That's good.
And last but not least, we have Bastion.
Hello. I'm excited to talk about this fucking game, even though we know nothing about it besides just that it's E-Day and some other pointers here and there. But very excited for it still.
Yeah, this is just to remind the audience. This is just like pre-release information until we get the actual gameplay, which is, we thought it was going to be this year, like a little bit later, but turns out it wasn't. But hey, take as much time as you need. This is a pre-release podcast, so speculation galore on this one.
Crossing my fingers for the Game Awards.
Yes, I have a strong feeling there's going to be gameplay there, and maybe we might be back here talking about that gameplay if it's really that damn good. But first and foremost, I tried to organize the questions here. What do you think of the prequel premise for Gears of War E-Day? The story takes place 14 years before the original Gears of War. It will focus on the beginning of the Locust War and the first takeover of planet Sarah. Also, how do you feel about the tone of the trailer they did give us? And I want to start with Jojo first.
Well, it's kind of cool that we're finally getting a game that, takes place during E-Day, because, we never see, E-Day is only really talked about. Like, we only ever really see maybe a flashback of it in Gears 4. That's as close as we've ever gotten. So I think this is going to be really, really, really cool. Like maybe the game will start off where everything's all like in every Gears of War game, the world's all torn apart and burning and crap. It would be nice to see. It's going to be cool to see, probably everything's going to be up, all these pristine buildings and houses and infrastructure, and then we're going to see it crumble before our eyes as the locusts rise up to slaughter humanity. And I am looking forward to see this. I cannot freaking wait. I know this is going to be on Game Pass, but I'm pre-ordering it. I don't care.
Has a heart on.
Yes, I do. Like that long shot.
What the okay. All right. I'm going to give my overall thoughts. So this is the events that has been mostly unseen, but we got through supplemental material, some inklings about Emergence Day, but I feel like this is going to be the raw emotion to that war, seeing the behind the scenes. Dom had his brother killed during this time, what is going through his head, what is going through Marcus's head, seeing the locust for the first time in history, which must be like a very horrifying sight. Like, what are you gonna do against this like big hulking monster that's like overpowering you? The tone of the trailer felt in tune with that. It felt like desperation, and that's kind of what I wanted, just harkening back to the original Gears of War 1 and 2 and how dire that situation was. I think someone described it best on Reddit. I want Gears 1, the atmosphere, but hiked up all the way to 11, and that's what I hope E-Day offers us, as well as like giving us a deep character study of like Marcus, Dom, and everyone involved, Ty, everyone involved with that backstory and fleshing it out. So that's what I want from the game personally. Rocker, what about you? What do you want from this game, and what do you think of the tone of the trailer?
The first thing I want to say is, if memory serves me correctly, Dom's brother, Carlos, died during the Pendulum Wars, not during E-Day.
Was that before or after?
Before. E-Day.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
It was back. It was back when they were taking the original technology for the Hammer of Dawn, if memory serves me correctly, from the people they were fighting against. It wasn't it the UIR, Jojo?
Yep, the UIR that has Groznia as a part of it.
yeah, so he still should be like thinking about it, even if it's still like a little bit before. I can see that making more sense than him mentioning it randomly in, you know, Gears of War 1. It still should be fresh on his mind.
Yeah, but back to the original question. Excuse me. The prequel premise, I'm all for it because in the we got a lot of Gears of War lore in like the books and everything that hasn't been tapped yet. And E-Day is perfectly ripe for a game because we could get more backstory on Marcus, how he joined. Same with Dom, though I think we already know that Dom joined due to his intense love for his brother and admiration.
And to provide a life for Maria.
That too. And I'm just thinking they're just gonna tap a massive load of interesting scenarios, situations, and all of that. And for the tone of the trailer, I loved it. It was dark. It was gritty. It showed war is hell, especially against an enemy you know nothing about. I just can't wait to get some more footage of it so we can dissect it even more.
Bastion, what do you feel about this question? How do you feel about the tone of the trailer for E-Day and the premise?
Oh, sorry about that. I was in the middle of dying. But so it kind of gave it gave the same types of vibes that the first trailer for like the original Gears of War. And like the way that they set it up, it does feel like there's going to be a lot of desperation in these characters, and the way that they're sorry, I got something in my throat. Oh man, sucks. But anyways, yeah, like you feel the darker tone coming back in a lot of different ways, especially with how they portray the trailer with the city, you know, basically getting destroyed by the emergence holes. So I want to see how much they dabble into their desperation of trying to use or I don't know if they were created or before the E-Day or during E-Day that they were created, but I want to see how they went about with the Hammer of Dawn and how that all basically was handled in the telling of this story, because if I'm not mistaken, they use it to basically hold them back for like a good year or so for those locust. So I'm very excited to see what they do with the story itself. The theme of it, I hope they go back to like the old very gritty, very serious tone of the games, even though they still like 4 and 5 still have it, but they don't give that much of the like the original trilogy feel that they had, which was a lot more darker and a more serious tone compared to the other ones.
Jojo, I have a question for you actually. When they use those hammers in the story, isn't that the reason why the people on Sarah turned into ash?
Yeah, because like a year after, I think it was like a year after E-Day, that's when Chairman Prescott made the decision to use the Hammer of Dawn to pretty much scorch the entire planet, just to deny the locust resources, I guess.
Yeah, and it sounds like plenty of more people died that way. So holy fuck.
Oh yeah, it's I think it was said that killed more people than the locust, if I'm not mistaken.
But that's something I just wanted to point out, because I remember the people just being all in ash in the first game. And I'm like, oh, how does this happen? And it's like, oh, you think about it, the Hammer of Dawn was fired, so this occurred. So they're probably gonna end the game on that very bittersweet note as soon as you get them, and Marcus reacts and everyone goes crazy. Oh, I can't wait to see it. But we're moving on to the next question, which is question number 2. So what do you think of the gameplay potential of E-Day, especially with more of the inexperienced cogs, where they made it a point that the drones are going to be reworked in gameplay and they're going to be harder to kill? And I want Rocker to go first.
Okay. I think the potential is huge because be it it's a new game in the series, it gives them a chance to introduce some potential new mechanics and everything that they didn't use in previous Gears games. For instance, like environmental weaponry. Like in the trailer that we saw, Marcus literally just grabbed a TV and just bonked the ever-loving fuck out of the locust there. It could give us access to new weaponry and everything. And now when it says on there for more inexperienced cogs, are you referring to the player base or the gears themselves in the game?
The actual characters.
Well, one thing that I can think of is the cogs in the game are primarily at that point used to fighting human opponents, be it the UIR or whoever else. Well, how are they going to react when it's an entire species they've never even seen or heard of before?
Yeah.
And as for the sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, interject real quick. Sorry to cut you off, but in the lore, I kind of read up on this. They said that Ty is the one that suggested like better equipment to the chairman because they could not penetrate through the skin of the locust, which is why I think that's how they're gonna do the chainsaw lancer. Is like he's gonna complain, and then all of a sudden it's gonna be like maybe we'll get this like at the end of the game or something. I don't think it's gonna be out completely, despite them saying yeah it makes sense not to use this right now. I think it's gonna be in the game like very very late when you get that, and it's gonna be a cool last moment. But continue.
Now, on to the other point, the about drones being reworked and harder to kill. That may make the player base actually use a little bit more strategy, because in previous shit you just dumped round after round after round in. Maybe with this they could introduce shit like you have to coat them in like what do you call it, the Sarah equivalent of liquid nitrogen to make their skin more brittle, and then you follow it up with a melee attack which could shatter their armor, and then you just start unloading into them. It just offers us more ways, and more ways to kill them and make us actually think about engagements. Excuse me.
But is that it for your answer?
Yes, it is.
Jojo, it is your turn. What do you think of the gameplay with more inexperienced characters and fighting the locust?
I think it's going to go back to what Rocker said earlier about how, like in the trailer, Marcus slams the TV into that drone skull, and going back to the prospect of the discovery of the Lancer. I think this is going to have some I think this is going to be more like humans struggling to fight an enemy that they've never fought. That was like Rocker said before. Humanity only fought against itself. There's no like aliens or like demons in Gears of War. It was a very human focused story. And when we see this army of monsters that they're having other monsters be their, beasts of burden, bred and made for the purpose of war, they're going to feel very, very, very overpowered, especially, well, not in the sense that they're strong, but that the enemies themselves are something they've ever fought before, and they, struggling to fight. And like Rocker said, with the locusts being really hard to kill with the bayonets on the current Lancer, as people in the current community call it the retro Lancer. I think this is also going to lead into, Ty finding the power saw, which inspires, Adam Phoenix. I think it was Adam Phoenix to create the Lancer chainsaw system. And I can't wait to see like all kinds of ways we're going to see humans, struggle and adapt to fight an enemy that they've never fought before. And we literally know nothing about other than they just want to kill us. So this is probably gonna be a really hard game, and I'm looking forward to it.
Also, JoJo was correct because I saw on the official podcast with Cliffy B, I think the host got it wrong that Barrett was the one that made the Lancer chainsaw. He said it was Barrett, it was Adam Phoenix. Like, that's a very interesting piece of trivia there for people who didn't know. But my answer to this is very simple. I kind of liked when someone mentioned that there would be maybe some pseudo horror elements, make it a little bit darker. One thing I kind of liked is the locust being a lot more threatening and doing things that you probably wouldn't expect, like maybe trying to get you from a dark corner, or they could bring back the mechanic from Gears 5 where they sort of pull you out of cover if you just stand there for way too long, which I think for a cover-based shooter, that kind of makes the whole dynamic interesting, as well as maybe if you're trying to melee this thing, he fights back and he's a big bitch and he tries to take you out. So I think if they decide to put some push and pull and not only make the game hard, but rework it in a way where it feels like Gears, but also something else that's a lot more difficult, that would probably keep me on my toes. I know this word is common in a lot of media, but I think subverting expectations is probably one of the best things they could do about this game, along with making it very, very dark. So that's my answer to that. Shug, how do you feel about this question?
Interesting, because they're gonna dabble, I hope, a lot more into the inexperience of, of course, dealing with the locusts themselves. I wonder, one thing that would be, I don't know, like, it'd be pretty fucked up if they do it, but it'd be funny as hell. And is if, let's say we don't play as Marcus and Dom, hypothetically, and they make us play as these random cog recruits, and it'd be like, oh, you're part of the two people that are with Dom and Marcus in this squad. And the way for them to make this game harder on us, besides the fact that we're playing inexperienced soldiers, would be give us a stamina bar, right, for running. This is a campaign, not multiplayer, of course. Either give us some sort of stamina bar or make the characters a lot heavier with their inexperience with the armors, because they also get to wear a lot of armor on them. So that'll be very interesting to see. Or, like I said, hypothetically, we play as just regular cog soldiers and not the actual main characters, which would be hilarious to me. And it'll, of course, make us struggle a lot more. And I would just like for them to, dabble more into that inexperienced part, especially with the combat, and see how, like you mentioned, with how they can just grab us from a cover, make it more of a tug of war for them not to pull you over the cover and, just knife them and kill them, or stun them in a way. Could also be to where whenever they introduce the chainsaw Lancer, even even just to fuck around, we have to rev it manually, and with like a little like active reload kind of deal. And if we fuck it up, we lose like our hand or some bullshit, kind of deal. Like I said,
wow,
you never really know with these kinds of things, and you just like, that's just stuff that you can probably just think about, but it'll never happen, of course. But it'll probably happen in like a cutscene or some shit. They'll be like, oh, we introduced, I've made these new guns or whatever. This is how you train with them, and some poor fucker does that shit and loses a hand. So there's like many things that you could do to really fuck around with the player itself, I would say, and see how we as the people playing it could adapt to these limitations that we get from the game itself. I don't know. That's like just my mind is going through a lot of things, just trying to think of what they could do just to fuck around with us, the player.
I think that'd be crazy if you could,
Yeah.
like, you do the active reload and your hand goes bye-bye. That'd be fucking insane, actually.
Yeah, fucking instant death.
You do you fail your active reload on a scorcher and you just burst into flames.
Yep,
Bro,
exactly.
That would be funny.
That'd be fun. That's like co-op material right there. I would
Yeah.
actually be down for that.
Oh
That
god,
would be
imagine the
hilarious.
blooper reel we're gonna have when this game comes
Oh,
out,
dude.
Bastion.
That's crazy.
Bro. But we're moving on to question number 3. So what are your hopes for the characters this time around, like Marcus and Dom, and any potential characters you would like to see from this time period, like Ty, for example? Jojo, you go first.
Well, since I heard that this game's going to be heavily focused on the relationship between Marcus and Dom, maybe we'll see more of a dynamic between them. Like maybe we'll see the two of them get into a disagreement of some kind. Or maybe maybe a punch will be thrown between the two. Who knows? And they'll get back together and, fight the final boss or do the final level together. I'm looking forward to seeing that dynamic. It makes the characters feel more human. And since you're using Marcus and Dom to focus on the darker aspects, there's another aspect of Gears that I like, and that's the kind of funny stuff, which is why I'm hoping, Rod Ferguson, if you're listening, please do this. Like a bonus little mini campaign you could say after you beat the game, or as like DLC or something, where it's like Cole and Baird doing getting into all kinds of weird shit happening while they're trying to survive the onslaught, and like Baird would figure out how to make a Coke machine explode to use it as a weapon to get out of a building or something. I would love to see that, and I'm pretty sure Ty is going to be in this because he's an integral part of what makes the Lancer. I'm also hoping that we get to see a Carmine. Now, will this Carmine die? It's E-Day, so most likely yes. Yeah, I would like to see the Baird and Cole stuff, kind of with the buddy cop sort of atmosphere to kind of juxtapose the grim and serious tone that Dom and Marcus have. I hope that was the proper word, juxtapose.
I'm trying to think of my response. I guess I'll give it real quick. So, I mean, it doesn't take much to please me for the characterization of Gears. I still kind of hope, despite it being a hopeless situation and the characters struggling a lot, that you do sort of get that meathead dialogue between Marcus and Dom, where they're smashing people's heads in and going, oh yeah, I hope you start to see some sort of formulation of that as they get used to killing these locusts, and maybe getting so much better across the game. So I think that's one thing I want to see, just actual character progression, because in some of the newer Gears, while I do love these games, I also feel like you got to focus on the new squad, sideline the old there in the game, and it's just this little dynamic back and forth. So I'm kind of happy they're going back to basics. Another thing is that they said there's going to be new weapons and enemies, so maybe just some stronger variations or reworking all of the locusts during this time period where it's you can't really harm them or hurt them or do significant damage. So how do you get past these enemies and give them some new patterns and stuff like that? I want to see how they are integral into the story, because Rom, I think they are being very hush on him. So I want to see who was the captain 14 years ago, who was the head honcho, or who was the one that was sort of taking charge or whatever during this time with multiple campaigns. I also agree with Jojo. I do think they should show the perspective of Barrett and Cole. But I don't know. I think it's gonna be DLC. As much as I don't want it to be DLC, it's probably going to be DLC. Either way, I would play it just like Hive Buster, so it's not really the biggest deal in the world, really. But Rocker, how do you feel about the
Yes.
characters and their portrayal, and what do you want to see in Gears of War E-Day?
Well, I'd first like to echo what JoJo said. I'd love to see more like more background story, more background info on the relationship between Marcus and Dom, and everything from Gears 1, 2, and 3. We obviously get the interaction. We know that they're friends and everything. They've been through a lot. But what was it like for them during the early days of their friendship and everything? Obviously, they're gonna have like arguments. They may have a fight or two. What could be an interesting thing is like in one of the missions and everything that Marcus and Dom are on, they could get into an argument and they have just like a small fist fight just to get the shit out of their system. And also, like you had said, Ren, a Baird and Cole storyline, like either DLC or whatever, would be wonderful, because those two are like very very good at being comedic dumbasses in
Like
the
a
best
buddy
way
movie.
possible. Exactly, like a best way possible. Also, potential characters I'd like to see is obviously Ty, because it's fucking Ty. How can you not like him? But personally, for me, I'd love to see more background info, like more interactions and shit with Hoffman, because we know he's a hard ass. But how much of a hard ass was he during E-Day and before that? And everything. And also, this is just for my own personal thing. I'd love to see Bernie make an appearance.
Yeah,
Hmm?
which Gears is Bernie from?
3.
3. Okay.
Yeah, she
You
was
know,
that granny sniper, the old lady with the thick Australian accent. She was badass.
And the dreadlocks.
I'm so glad you followed up on that. So happy.
Yes. But yeah, Bernie is like my favorite female Gears character. Because, yes.
Well, Sugar, what do you? Oh, you were saying something, Rocker?
I was just gonna say, give us more interactions between characters. Give us more story with them, and that's all I gotta say.
Okay. So, Sugar, what do you think of this question with the characters like Marcus and Dom? What do you want to see, and is there any other potential characters you want to see in this prequel?
So, besides more Carmines, I would love to see a younger Clayton. And what else I would love to see? I think the way that they should structure, let's say, the story in terms of if we want to see like the big cast that we all know and love, basically. I could see it as if they do how Gears of War 3 was kind of structured, where we would do a handful of missions with one squad, and then they would like some shit would happen, they would get separated in some way, and then we play another handful of missions with the other squad, and then they reunite with the other. They do like those other handful of people. I would like it to be like that, but not between switching squad members and stuff. I would say like it would be cool if, of course, we open up with Delta, with Dom and Marcus, and we see how they go throughout this point of view of theirs, of course. Then we see like some sort of other point of view, let's say with Ty or with Kim. Could also be another one we could see, or we're probably gonna see Kim, honestly, and see how his squad and how they went through all that bullshit also before we met them in the first game. And of course, Ty, everybody loves Ty. Dizzy, I don't know Dizzy. I think Dizzy kind of appeared in what was it, in 2
And 3.
and that was it. I don't know if he's like he was deeply involved with the COG before that, but it could be another possibility. Don't really know what other characters I would love to see besides the main 4. And but it'd be very interesting to see how they would deal with this different dynamic of how each squad had to deal with their perspectives. Because you have Dom and Marcus, Kim and whatever his other people were, Ty and his people, and then you have fucking Baird and Cole and their squad. And it could all be like a whole thing where we play these different perspectives of Emergence Day, and then like on the final act we all get together and kind of just like switch around the squads and change around perspectives here and there to see how the end plays out in a way of seeing how humanity is going to win this war and not desperately lose it in a lose-lose situation kind of deal. So it'd be very interesting to see how they do it, and I would love to see how they would end this game in itself.
May I interject with something quickly?
Good.
I just thought of one character none of us thought of. We could possibly Biachi may just be like a background character and only really appear in cutscenes, but Maria.
Maybe or probably flashbacks. I don't know how far into Emergence Day did she live? Because I'm pretty sure
saying, it would be. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I'm just saying it would be nice for us to get some have Maria appear as like a background character in like the opening scenes and shit, like her and Dom are just talking and everything about how he's going, being a cog is treating him, or no, being a gear is treating him, yada yada yada, what their plans are for their family, shit like that. They basically give us more Maria, because all we sadly got of her was the flashback in 3 when Dom rescued her. She was in 2. Oh, thank you. In 2, and then we saw her in her current state. But give us like give us some flashbacks and shit of her in her like prime and shit,
or have it be how the game opens too.
Ooh, I also want to interject. I have another interjection, if I may, Ren. We could see some more like of the drone side of this battle. Like maybe we could see like General, I forgot what his rank is, but Karn. Karn. He was one of the generals, and oh god, General Ram or Usul. That's Dune. Yeah, Scourge Ron. Yeah, Scourge too. Yeah. Like all these other locusts, all these other big name locusts that led the onslaught. I'd love to see them like show up a little bit. Maybe we could see a new one who could probably be like, the final boss in the game, like how Ram was at the end of 1, or Scourge at the end of 2. Like maybe we can get them as like little boss battles or something.
That would be nice.
Like you don't kill them, but you just fight them off and escape, but you don't actually kill them, obviously, for the sake of lore.
Yeah, I think that'd be a really great idea to show the previous generals and how they coordinated things. Like, were they just as brutal as Rom, and maybe Rom's like sort of uprising as he's learning from all these other generals, and then all of a sudden it's like he becomes the brutal monster that he becomes later in Gears of War 1. So I think that'd be very good to see that backstory, since we already know like the most we can about the Locust Horde, but now it's like, let's see the inner workings and details. And I think Maria was like a great suggestion, because it's gonna be kind of gut-wrenching if she's like talking normally and Dom's like, okay, I'm gonna have a great day, I'll see you later, and then you kind of know that the history of these characters and the lore and how he puts her out of her misery. Yeah, it's gonna be kind of gut-wrenching, so maybe they could play up on that a little bit. I think they could totally do it, no problem. But we're moving on to the next question, which is question number 4. So multiplayer and co-op is going to be probably like a big part of this game. At least one component is they confirmed the multiplayer is returning, but is there anything specific that you would like to see return for E-Day? And Jojo, I want you to go first on this one.
please, please, please do not axe horde mode. Please, I'm begging you, let us have our horde mode again. Because when they did Judgment, they didn't give us horde mode. They gave us this little survival mode, which was okay, but not nearly as fun. Like, I would love to see them kind of do like ultimate horde mode, where you can play like with various rules from various older horde modes. Like, say you could play with Gears 3 horde mode rules and have like the predetermined spots, and you could set it to have like different factions of enemies, like drones or swarm. Even, you know, you can, since multiplayer is not canon at all, just have fun with it. Also, I'm really hoping, I mean, I'm pretty sure I'm barking in the dark when I say this, but I really hope the Nasher is not going to be stupidly overpowered again in multiplayer, because that's why I don't play versus.
I hate to say it, but it's so many Gears fans that probably disagree with that statement, because the shotgun is just like the meta at this point.
I know. And as for other multiplayer modes, I would like to see like more mission based modes, like say one side plays as human, one side plays as a locust, and like the humans got to defend a building, and they got to defend a building until time runs out, while the locust side has to, you know, kill all the humans before time runs out. Something like that, for example. I would love to see that. It would make the world more cool, make the gameplay more cool, you know, kind of give us maybe some more insight on the shit humanity was going for. And please don't make Battle Royale. Please. I'm doing the thing with my hands as I'm doing this. You can't see it, but please no Battle Royale. But I would love to see a really good advanced horde mode.
He's praying to God right now.
Yes, I'm praying to the Trinity of War for that.
I will go really quickly because I only want like really 2 things back. So obviously, well, actually 3. So main campaign co-op, but I think that's a given that's going to be there. It's like they will have to be really dumb if they don't put that in there. So that's a given. But I want escape, which I thought they could do maybe some potential with this, make it a lot more, you know, intense with escape, considering the settings and everything, and how this game is going to be a lot more brutal according to them. So I want to see how that's all in action in like escape mode. And obviously horde, you can't have Gears without horde at this rate. I think it would be a crime if they didn't put it into the game. While they did confirm multiplayer and all this other stuff, they are kind of hush-hush on modes. And I think when we get closer to gameplay, that's when they're going to show off the multiplayer. And I think Coalition really cares for the fan base, so it's a no-brainer that may be back as well. Just seeing some cool bosses come in, and, you know, high Cantus coming in and trying to fuck shit up. That'd be cool to see. So horde mode with the reworked enemies doing insane zany shit, that's all I want. Next up is Rocker. What do you want from the multiplayer and co-op this time around in ED?
All right, well, like JoJo said, please give us fucking horde mode, because we need a good solid. In the Gears games, Gears 1, 2, and 3, they had a really solid fucking horde mode. Same with
Not
4
in
and
1.
5. Oh, they didn't? My bad. But in 2, 3, 4, and 5, they had horde mode, and it was fun. And like JoJo said, let us like mess around, like create custom horde mode matches and shit, where we can choose like which rule set to use, what weapons will appear, yada yada yada. And for the co-op and everything, I'd love to see them introduce some more like a newer revival mechanic and shit. Because in the previous games, you just literally, when someone went down, you just walked up to them, pressed the X button or whatever, boom, and they popped right back up. Give it like a make it take time for the characters and stuff to get revived back up, kind of like what they had in the Borderlands games. How you'd go up to them and hold down the button, and it'd take them a few moments, allowing them to get back up. Where with that, it would basically mean you got to strategically be able to make it over there to revive them.
Maybe
And then
some
as an
actual filmatic stuff. That'd be cool.
yeah, and for that, give them class introduce like a class system you can do like when you're in a campaign and everything. Like kind of like how they have it in a horde mode, how you can have your character specialize in certain things. Make one of them be like a fucking medic where it allows you to heal the people, get the people up faster, and potentially heal them with more health versus the straight up you go down and you get revived. You're basically back up to full health and everything. That's personally what I would love to see. And I think direct opposite of JoJo, keep the Nasher in horde mode. He
I am
just
in
needs to
agreement.
get good. He just needs to get good with this Nasher.
I'm talking in like multiplayer and horde mode. It's fine.
And in fair enough. Let me rephrase that. Keep the Nasher in multiplayer. JoJo just needs to get good.
Well, damn. I knew that was coming.
Okay, 1v1 me in Gears 5. You
Oh,
got Game
shit.
Pass.
Oh, shit. Okay.
I don't have Game Pass anymore. If you're willing to buy me a month of it, I'll do it.
They should buff the Nasher, actually.
Yeah.
It was too weak.
Off. Excuse me. Sorry.
It was too weak on Gears 5.
But,
I'll make the Nasher be able to slam fire.
bro, I don't think we need that energy, goddamn. But Shug,
Yeah,
what
that's
do you?
all I got.
Yeah, but Shug, what do you think of this question for the multiplayer and the co-op? Is there any modes you would like to see or anything new at all?
I think pretty much what they have is what's set. I think what they should do is not remove game modes halfway through the game's lifetime. That kind of pissed me off. But and hopefully they can fix their fucking game off the bat in like the first week, because back when Gears 5 came out, I lost so much progress from multiplayer. It's not even funny. And then they decided to remove the game mode altogether, which was also very annoying. So I would love for that King of the Mountain, King of the Hill, or whatever it was. I would love for that game mode to come back and stay there, and not then remove it, because they were like, oh, let's remove it because people don't like it or whatever. They can go fuck themselves. That was my favorite game mode. And it was another type of game mode. I think it was on Gears 3. That was like a hostage kind of deal where we had to protect our leader, or like a specific player that would be a leader on each squad that would rotate
Guardian?
between rounds. Guardian, that's what it was. And I would like for those two game modes to come back and stay in the game, because it does get boring just having fucking just regular team deathmatch and what's that other game mode with the rings?
Control point or capture.
Control point. Yeah. Like it gets boring. It gets really boring off the bat just having those two game modes. Like it's not Gears 1, or Gears 2. It's we're at this point we're gonna be on Gears 6. So, it would be just nice for them to actually do a better job at keeping their multiplayer fixed off the bat. Overall, I think Horde mode, it could probably stay the same, honestly, from like Gears 5, maybe some improvements to it, but I wouldn't really know what I would like for them to improve in any way. I would say the only thing that I would prefer would be that to give us the option to start off with whatever fucking gun we want, and not just a stupid submachine gun or with a sniper or some bullshit, how some of these classes kind of just start you off randomly. That's probably the only thing I didn't really like about the classes. Besides that, I don't really see much of anything that should change. Maybe add more weapons, I would say. Maybe some new weapons that we haven't seen yet. Something that it was just not possible, let's say, in terms of world lore, that it was not possible to continue developing because of either how bad it was at handling or how not great of a weapon it was. So, it would be interesting to see that that like maybe two kinds of weapons that were like so not great for them in their universe that they just stopped developing it. So that would be interesting to see, and how they would put it into the game itself.
And I personally agree. No more taking out modes. I'm kind of tired of like 2v2 Nashers. Just keep all the moves that you can in there, and I think you would learn your lesson properly. So I definitely agree with that. We're moving on to question number 5, and this is more about them going to Unreal 5 and them saying that they can never do Gears E-Day on the Xbox 360. I didn't know they tried to develop this game before, so I guess maybe during Judgment, I want to say, they tried it and they said the technology wasn't there. They wanted to do some large-scale stuff with the rendering and cities being destroyed. So what do you guys think of the possible engine and the fact that they tried this before and they just couldn't do it? Jojo, I want you to go first.
Okay, I think what they're trying to do now is I think with that statement we couldn't just show E-Day because like literally the amount of destruction that was going on at the time was like if they probably couldn't do a very good job of rendering it on a 360. I think that's what he was going for. So maybe this is going to be the game where we get to see like true brutal destruction of an environment happen in real time. Like I'm guessing maybe like there's going to be parts where like we'll go through a building, and then like the building could fall apart, and it could like kind of fall apart realistically. Like a wall could fall this way, or the ceiling can come down here, something like that. Like we get to see it fall apart and stuff like that just fall apart or burn or explode in real time. And I think that's what they were kind of trying to go for. Like I'm going back to the trailer again. Like when we see the ground open up and like it opens up into like a big fiery hole, all this debris falls into it, and Marcus is, hanging onto a ledge, and then until Dom, grabs him and rescues him. Like I think that's like we're going to see real time. We're probably going to see some real time destruction of stuff, and that's actually probably going to affect the environment. Like you're going to be up on the ground. Next thing you know, the ground's going to split open. You're going to be continuing the fight, lower or something. I can't wait to see how that's going to work in this game, if it does.
I'll go real quick. I think this could be a visual showcase. I mean, they already said that the trailer was rendered like in engine, so if it's gonna look anything like that, it's gonna be fucking beautiful. I want to see. I believe Rod Ferguson when he said this. I do think that yes, there had to be limitations on any of the older consoles when doing some of these games, so it's a no-brainer that you could see some of their vision like not being lived up to when you really think about it. But now they have the technology. I just want to see it like real brutal war. I want to see people just get pulled apart and stuff like that, and you can't really save them or do anything about it, or if you try then the situation is going to be like very dire, stuff blowing up, explosions, people getting pulled into emergence holes, just the most crazy random stuff you could think of, full of like particle effects and just everything involved with like just destruction and chaos everywhere. If they can do it, I want to see no stone unturned, and that's how I feel about this whole situation in Unreal 5. Rocker, what about you? What do you think of Rod's statement, and what do you want to see in terms of the graphical showcase?
Well, personally, I would agree with him on his statement that they could never do E-Day on the 360, because don't get me wrong, 360 fun machine, and the games that it had that rendered them perfectly. But like you had said, with all the wanton large scale destruction that's going to be coming up in E-Day, I think if they tried to render it on the 360 would burst into flames. And the one thing that I would love to see, personally want to see, is how they're going to handle seeing the Hammer of Dawn strikes. and everything. Because as we know, when the hammer struck, it basically turned people out in the open into into basically humanoid statues and everything, which is eerily similar to. Sorry to go off on a side tangent on this, but it is relevant. How back in World War II, when we first dropped the nukes on Japan, how the shadows and shit were burned into walls or onto the ground and everything. How are they going to render that out? It may sound dark, but admit it. You're interested on how they're going to make that work.
Yeah, I
Hello?
want to see them. I was just thinking of a thought real quick, but I want to see them completely scorch the city. That's another graphical showcase, because that does happen when they get their hands on the Hammer of Dawn and they make it. So as long as, like, I just want to see crazy fucking graphics. And I think they can do it. They are in the era where they can, and if they believe it, then I want to see it. That's what I care about.
Yeah. Quick thing. You know, you said how they would be getting their hands on their Hammer of Dawn.
Yeah.
I think they had the Hammer of Dawn before E-Day, because, well, the Pendulum Wars happened before E-Day, and they did the Pendulum Wars to basically get the fucking Hammer of Dawn. So they already had it.
Yeah, the UIR developed the Hammer of Dawn. It was basically the COG winning it, the COG taking it over that won them the war.
Yeah, I think it was in the book Aspho Fields was where we got more of that information, because I remember I had bought that book a while back, but
Is it
that's all I
more
wanted to say.
like, is it more like stabilized now? Because, like, later on in the lore, they use Hammer of Dawns like nobody's business, and it doesn't scorch cities as hard as it used to. So I don't know.
I think they might have dialed back the destructive power and everything a wee bit, but still left it very fucking devastating.
Yeah, I think what happened was, like, the remote control Hammer of Dawn you have in the game just, like, gives you that one big beam laser, but because Prescott had access to the Hammer of Dawn system right there, he could activate all these things all at once, all over the planet, and just scorch everything. And that's what he did.
So the moral of the story is Prescott didn't give a fuck.
Prescott's a dick. Yes.
More like Prescott's a really shitty decision maker.
And a dick.
Yeah, you're not
And a
wrong.
dick too.
And a dick.
And a cunt.
And a cunt. But Shug, what do you think
He lacks
about
the depth and the warmth to be called a cunt.
He threw me out there, god damn it.
Well, that's right, that's Hoffman.
Damn. But Shug, what do you think of this question and how they couldn't handle making E-Day on older consoles like 360, and what do you want to see graphically for this game?
I want to see beauty. I want to see how these cities were before the shit happened. I want to see how the colors were before all the shit went to hell. Because I know whenever we see Gears 5 and they kind of just throw us, a little bit into their infrastructure at that time, you would see that, it's still kind of course, very robotic because robots built it, but very monotone and very dark. But if you go to, let's say, Gears 3, and we have this one area at the end of the game where it was very colorful, it was a fucking a resort, for these people. So I want to see how well they can develop these cities to how they used to be, all the colors and all the brightness that these cities probably had before the E-Day kind of deal, and before the destruction came. So it would be very interesting to see what they would do with those. I want to see Battlefield game levels of destruction. I just want to see a full-blown war zone being able to just cross it while everything's happening. I would love to see people get pulled down with the emergence holes. That would be hilarious to see, if somebody just talking to you then disappeared. So, they could go very creative with what they can do here with the city building, especially them changing to Unreal 5. So I want to see what they would do, but I think the environment should be, before everything goes to shit, of course, they should showcase the environment a lot before everything just entirely goes to shit and it gets dark and gritty. I think this world was a bit more colorful before the locust, and even then it's probably still dark, but not too dark as it is now. But I would just like to see how they would do the world building in terms of if we see more different kinds of environments, maybe more forests that we could deal with in the campaign itself. We don't really deal with those too much. And with Gears 5, we kind of just dealt with environmental like hazards. So, make it to where we don't have those. And basically display it as the perfect world that got destroyed in a way. And I would just love I would just love to see the beauty of what everything was before Emergence Day, and then have it turn to shit in like the first chapter of the game.
Rocker, I'm gonna call you for this question, but weapons you want to see in E-Day?
Well, obviously, I want to see, like, this is probably more likely going to happen more toward either in the middle or towards the end. The fucking chainsaw lancer. Because it's fucking iconic. It's like when you think Gears of War, you think the chainsaw lancer and everything. I'd also like to see, what would it be? Like, I don't know if this fits into this question, but I'd love to see the Gears reaction to the various guns and shit that the Locust are using, like the Hammer Burst, the Gorgon Pistol, the Digger, the Boom Shot, shit like that. And be like, holy shit, we've never fought against something like this. And I'd also like to see like how the Gears will react to using those, obviously.
Let me just steal
And
someone's
I'd
bull
also like
talk.
to see the one shot.
Let me just steal someone's bull talk, and I think I'll be fine.
That would work too.
I guess I'll go real quick. So definitely the long shot. Cause I really like the sniper rifle in the game. The typical Nasher. I want to see the chainsaw, bayonet thing come back into the fold in a cool way. Like maybe they can make some badass moment out of that when they finally have it created from Adam Phoenix. I want to see that multiplayer too immediately. just a lot of weapons from Gears just returning and done in new and inventive ways, as well as I think what I also need is new takedowns, because I just love like taking someone's like a fucking locust's head and stomping it in like a watermelon. I think that's like just I want to see just like new creative ways and old school ways to kill people in this game. So just let me like mash someone's head in with like a Nasher or something before I blow them away, or something like that. I think the gory kills, deaths, and animations with these weapons are still like 100% at the forefront. So let me see more. Jojo, what about you? What weapons do you want to see?
Like everyone said, I'm pretty sure we are going to see the Lancer chainsaw at some point. I think they did confirm that the Lancer chainsaw gun is going to be in multiplayer for sure. Thank God. I would also like to see maybe some old UIR weapons come back, like the Markza, maybe the breach shot, since that was kind of like a Markza modified by the Locust. The tripwire crossbow, that was a lot of fun. That was one of my favorite things about Gears Judgment. Yes, I like that game. Don't argue with me. I would like to also see some more grenade types. Like I would love to see the ink grenade come back, because those were fun to use. I would also like, since they're incorporating ice damage into Gears 5, why not an ice grenade or something? That would be kind of cool too, for at least multiplayer or something. For big weapons, I would love to see the one shot come back, because it is just so satisfying to kill like 3 or 4 boomers with one shot in that thing. I love it. And of course, my favorite weapon to take down armored Cantuses, the Scorcher flamethrower. I love that freaking thing.
Shug, what about you? Which guns you want to see?
The sawed off. That should definitely come back for this. That'd be very hilarious to see the kinds of kills that I could come up with on that one. The Brumach shield would be hilarious to use. I feel like those shields should come back, especially with the flail. It'd be
Brumach
pretty funny
shield.
to do. Huh?
I don't remember the Brumach having
It's
a
not
fucking
Brumach. I'm just
shield.
gonna call it that until I remember what it was.
I know, just busting your balls.
And it would just be interesting. The Gorgon for sure should definitely come back. I don't even know why the hell they took it off. And the Cantuses. Why the fuck did they get rid of the Cantuses in general? I feel like those were missed opportunities and enemies, especially for Gears 4 and 5.
They were unique.
Yeah, they were very unique enemies, especially the armored ones. They could have definitely come up with something for Gears 4 and 5. But I don't know what other like guns were removed from the game itself. I think most of them have been fluctuating here and there throughout the games. But like I said, like maybe some sort of weapons. Like I said earlier, some weapons that were probably too outclassed or outgunned in this war that were like, let's just decommission this weapon because it does not work in any way or form that we're trying to use it for. It'd be very very interesting to see what kind of other weapons it can create out of fucking thin air. So yeah, like a 5-barrel shotgun or something. You never really know what the hell they could come up with, and they can get creative with whatever the hell they want. So,
I want to interject too. I would like them to, tackle some more melee options too, like maybe like a fire axe, like you could find stuff in the environment to use for like a temporary melee weapon, like a fire axe or a stick with a nail through it, like Silent Hill. Maybe they can go crazy and you could like cobble together some shit like a lighter and a can of spray paint or something, like in Metal Gear 2. I don't know. That would be cool to see, or maybe like some kind of Molotov cocktail, since these are humans, scraping shit together to fight. I'm pretty sure maybe we'll see a Molotov cocktail be used in the game somewhere. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I think the idea of like it feels primitive should be a theme of the game, and if they're gonna do like a little bit of survival thematics, then I think that'd be a great way to introduce stuff. Like, give me a pipe and just let me like bash a skull in or something like that. Like, I want to see just the locust die in the worst death, considering what they do later in the series. So I think it's just fitting in those regards to have like more melee options too. But we are moving to the last question, and it is, when do you think Gears of War E-Day will logically release in your opinion? And what do you feel about the Coalition saying that the door is still open for Gears 6? And I want Rocker to go first.
Skip me for this. Go to someone else. I'm currently munching.
All right. Jojo, what about you?
I would like to... I'm actually looking forward to seeing possible stories they could take with Gear 6, with how the ending of 5 was kind of a player choice scenario. Where are we allowed to talk about the ending of 5 here, since it's kind of a spoiler?
I mean, you can. I don't mind. I guess spoiler alert for people who never played Gears 5. So there you go.
Yeah, because in Gears 5, you get to choose. There's a situation where you get to choose whether Dell or JD, survive. And I would like to know if it's gonna be like what they did in Wolfenstein: The New Colossus, where like in the beginning you just choose again, or if it's just like gonna detect your save file and make the choice for you or something. I wonder if it's gonna do something like that. As for Gears E-Day releasing, it's obviously going to be a 2025 game. That's a given. I want to say maybe the latest, like around Christmas of 2025, maybe. That's the latest. I'm just spitballing here. Like maybe spring or summer 2025. I'm saying winter at the latest, and that's just my rough estimation.
Okay, I'll go next. I'm gonna speculate when we see gameplay. Obviously, I think Game Awards this year release end of 2025, early 2026. I just think games nowadays, especially AAA, they take a long ass fucking time to come out. And I don't think it's unrealistic to say like this might be coming in that release window, because they're gonna take all the sweet time they need. And obviously, you know, they want this game to be good, a call back to the original. Yeah, I could see like late 2025 being the release for this, no problem. They could always surprise us though. We don't know how long it's been in development for, so here's hoping that it's released sooner. As for Gear 6, I guess it's a good given and compromise to people who like really enjoyed the story of Gears 5 and Gears 4, because a lot of people just thought, oh, they were going to go back to the past and not really answer anything left over from those two games. So that's good for fans of the series. Like, you get the main line continuing, and then you get a prequel story that everybody wanted this entire time. And it's just the best time to be a Gears fan. More media is coming out. You got the animated show, which they said is going to be like brutal, violent, awesome. So I can't wait for that. And just these upcoming games and everything under the sun. So it's the best time to be a fan of Gears of War, in my opinion. Next up is Rocker. Are you done eating, sir?
Yes, I am.
Could you go on this question? What do you think of when you think the release day of E-Day is going to drop for us, and what do you think of the coalition saying they're going to leave the door open for Gear 6?
Well, the first one, I'm gonna say once we get to the Game Awards and either at the Game Awards or whenever they really give us some actual gameplay footage, I'm gonna say maybe a year and change after we get the gameplay footage. Though they probably want to time the release to coincide with like a major event and everything, like Christmas or Thanksgiving or the start of summer or whenever. So that's my prediction on that, is basically once we get some gameplay footage, maybe year and change, then we'll get then it'll be released. And as for Gear 6, doors open for Gear 6. I mean, look at all the money and everything the Gears of War franchise has made. They would be crazy not to make Gear 6. They left off Gears 5 with Jojo, help me out on this one. What was her name?
Kate, Kate, the protagonist.
Yes.
Kate Diaz.
Basically, slight spoilers for those who haven't played it or known about it. Kate's mother or grandmother or whatever is Queen Mira, and she's going off. You didn't know that?
Yes, I have.
Oh, you bastard! You little.
It's been 7 years. Come on.
Yeah, fair enough. But basically, we left off at Gears 5, where she's going off to find more about herself and potentially basically kill her mother again and everything. So it would make sense for them to do Gears 6, because you don't want to leave off a fucking trilogy, because with Gears 1, 2, and 3, that was basically the story of Marcus and everything, going through all of it. And Gears 4 and 5 are basically Kate trying to figure out what the fuck is wrong with her. And then at the end of 5, we find out Kate is got some locust blood in her.
The good old locust DNA.
Yep. Yeah, that's what I personally think.
What about you, Shug? When do you think that Gears E-Day is dropping, and what do you think of the potential of Gears 6 around the horizon?
Let's see. I'm gonna use my guessing powers here to think of a semi-important release date here. I would either say next year, either the first 2 weeks of September or the first 2 weeks of October. That's where I will gauge the game being released at. I feel like it's probably the best time to release it, and yeah, I would say that. You can quote me on it. If I'm wrong, make fun of me, poke fun of me, but that's where I will that's where I will say the release might come out. One of those two. But
I'll make fun of you anyway.
it's whatever. For Gear 6, I'm halfway expecting it to probably be out by 2027 or 2028. So it'd be interesting to see what they come up with. I hope they continue the story and don't pull off another prequel kind of deal. With how the story left off in 5, I'm for sure, they can think of a lot of things to do, or they could just pull off a Gears 3 all over again, but, with different people. Or, same squad anyways, because they're all still there. But, yeah, I'm excited for it. The door better still be fucking open because, they signed up to do the series, so they better fucking continue it and not just cancel it out of nowhere or discontinue it. So, yeah, I'm excited for Gear 6. I'm excited for E-Day, and I'm excited to see more of this game whenever they release more footage, more gameplay.
All right, and that is the end of our speculation podcast for Gears E-Day. Went kind of good, actually. Good discussions all around, good fun, and obviously talking about killing them damn locusts. So we're gonna do outros now. Jojo, where can we find you?
You could find me on Twitter at the Lost Jojo, and on YouTube and Twitch. The same name. I'm currently going to start playing the PC version of Silent Hill 2 to get people ready for the remake coming out. And also every Friday, me, Rocker, and some other friends are going to be doing Team Fortress 2 streams. And don't forget #FixTF2 and #SaveTF2. We're winning. We're winning the battle against the bots.
Don't forget to cut that out.
He's an actual Gears of War, goddamn. Okay. Rocker, where can we find you?
Well, on everything, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. It's easy. It's Rocker666006 and everything. I like Jojo said, you can usually find me playing TF2 with Jojo every Friday. And also, I'm personally looking into getting back into streaming myself. I just got to relearn how to work OBS or whichever one I decide to use. And also, what you guys don't know is Jojo has a secret Feet Finder account. See if you can find it.
Bro, what? Wait.
What? Excuse me?
Drill is top donor.
Yep.
God damn.
Ew.
Drill is
no.
top donor. All right.
Ew.
You see them
Gross.
bunions, boy.
I'm not playing part in this joke. I'm sorry. I can't.
Let me see them
can't.
horns.
I'm time stamping this part, by the way. I'm sending it right to him. I gotta laugh, bro.
Perfect.
Just have it open the video before the intro.
Just have it right there, like front and center.
Yep.
But Suge, where can we find you?
You can find me pretty much anywhere, but mainly on YouTube at Sugar Bastion. I'm currently doing Star Wars Outlaws. I'm doing that, and I'm doing co-op with Jojo here. We're doing Dying Light, and I'm also doing a different co-op series with Marvel Ultimate Alliance. So those are pretty fun, and hopefully, I see more people enjoy those as much as we are doing it, playing it, and doing the videos and stuff.
All right, and you can find me on YouTube at Renegade Operative. You can find me on Twitch at Renegade_Operative. I have been suffering through pain of playing Dead Rising 1, and obviously fucking it up and getting the wrong endings. So if you want to see me play that game all the way till the release of the Dead Rising remake, I will be streaming it day one, talking about impressions, seeing how the remake is and dissecting the game from there. It should be pretty fun. I'm gonna try to get this podcast up by tomorrow, and that should all be pretty fun until the release of Bleach. I have been ingesting that, and it's gonna be Bleach and Naruto next month, so very hype and excited to talk about two of my favorite animes. But until then, this is the Infinite Ammo Syndicate signing off for now. You guys enjoy yourselves out there. Don't get chainsawed or bayoneted, and we'll see you next time. Later.
Bye bye.
Peace.
Banana.